Okay, good evening, everyone. Welcome to our True Life Dream Team chat on a Tuesday. I hope everybody is having a good night. I am so excited about tonight. I feel like I always say that. Okay, but it doesn't make it any less true. Okay, every time we have a Dream Team chat, I'm always excited about the topic. I'm always excited about being here with you guys and being able to share things and just spend time with you on a semi weekly basis. So, tonight I had posted the topic. Tonight we are talking about balance and beyond. And I was kind of like trying to figure out what I did not know. Alex had asked me this morning, what are you going to talk about? And I was like, I do not know. And I was trying to really think about it and trying to be mindful of things that I have seen people talking about on the team pages and that I've been hearing in private conversations with teammates and stuff. And it just came to me. A lot of people are dealing with balance, right? Because a lot of us are dealing with kids going back to school. We're dealing with uh, life kind of going back into a semi-normal thing, or maybe you're experiencing in some areas where life is kind of going, but it feels like it's kind of moving back towards like a COVID type setting, and it's like really weird. And so finding that balance again, and what does that look like for our business now that we're heading into the fall season, plus balancing kids and maybe you have work or whatever. So I figured that that was a good topic to finish out this month as we head into September. So I hope that there is something beneficial for you here tonight. But I'm excited to kind of dive into it because balance is one of those topics where I'm like, I, I don't really believe in balance, but also like I know that there is a balance. So we'll get into that. But in the comments, can you guys tell me what your definition of balance is? How do you define balance? What does that look like for you? What do you picture? Just tell me in the comments, and then I am going to read. I like to know the definition of words. I do this all the time when I'm like during Bible studies and stuff. I like to, a word comes up and I'm like, well, what does that actually mean? So I'll like look it up. So I did that with balance, and there was like 8 different kinds of definitions for it, which was interesting. Um, but the two that I feel like stuck out to me the most and that kind of applied to what we're talking about tonight were the ability to move or to remain in position without losing control. So I really like that. Obviously, I think they're talking about more physically, but I think that it fits well when we're talking about in our business or in our life. And then the other one is really simple: mental and emotional steadiness. Yeah. So Shree said scheduling my day week out. That helps balance me for sure. Alex says balance is being able to juggle my obligations without being overwhelmed. That's awesome. Michelle says a percent of time devoted to certain areas of my life. Katie said a give and take of my priorities, establishing what needs more attention than others for the day and week. I love that. So all great definitions. Nobody is wrong. I just want you to know nobody is wrong. There was no right answer. I read you the definitions that stuck out to me per Webster or whatever. But everybody's definition of balance could be a little bit different, or it means something different to them. But what I'm going to be talking about tonight is kind of just this idea of finding a rhythm and a routine that feels balanced to you when we're talking about our regular life, what's going on in our life on a day-to-day basis, plus our business, right? Because if you don't know, and maybe you're new here, we are heading into a very busy season. Those of you who experienced hypergrowth last year and 2020 being the year that Scentsy totally blew up, I don't feel like there was quite great of a balance last year because it was just like all wild. It was all crazy. Things were like, it kind of felt out of control in like the best possible way. And we definitely got through it. And we not only survived, but we thrived as a team. And it was amazing. But this year, we're starting to feel that more normal cycles of spring and summer being a little bit slower. Now we're heading back into fall. And what does that transition look like? And I can tell you, I can almost promise you and guarantee you that this season is going to be really big. Fall is always the best best season in our business. And so when we're sitting down and talking about kids going back to school, people going back to work, lives picking back up for normal fall routines, holidays, all that good stuff, paired with a really busy selling season, I want you to have a good grasp on what does that routine look like for you in your life and how to set yourself up so that you're not feeling overwhelmed, so you're not feeling off balance, and ultimately burnout, right? Because I do feel like that is the worst thing that can happen as pertaining to your business is burnout, and experiencing that where it feels so overwhelming that you're just done, that you just kind of take a step back and you're like, I'm out. Okay. So we don't want that to happen. And so this is I'm hoping that I can talk to you guys about what it looks like to figure out that routine, right? So, like I said, I named off some of the things that in our lives we are all dealing with on one way or another. Maybe you don't have school age kids going on, but you have stuff going on at church, or you have a work, you're going to a 9 to 5 or working a different job, or different things going on in your life, that sports, whatever it may be. I know for us, it's school for the kids and just a lot of different areas of your life. Whatever your day to day life looks like in a fall season, birthdays, holidays, all that good stuff that you're penciling into your calendar, calendar's filling up. What are we doing? It's that busy season. And like Cherie said, with planning her days and her weeks out, that is a really great way to kind of ground yourself and finding balance. But then we have to add in balance in our business, and what does our business look like. And it's like crazy, you guys, because it's crazy because I know that, like, for me, I joined Scentsy because I was like, man, motherhood is kind of swallowing me up and I don't know what to do with my free time. I really want something like creative to do. And I feel like that I look at my schedule and I'm like, man, I have so much going on in my family life. How did I ever think that I had free time to do anything else? Like, why did I think that I had free time to add a business on top of this? However, we make it work, right? And Scentsy is that business where it fits right into our life. And if we maneuver it and input it well, it totally is cohesive, and we want that. But that doesn't mean that we don't have to recognize when things get overwhelming, or what that looks like, or even in as a business mindset, how do we look at balance when it comes to doing our personal business versus our team, right? When are we spending time on our own stuff versus when we're having coaching calls and having joint conversations and doing trainings for our teams and team pages and all this stuff? How do we even just balance that, right? So I want to be very clear with you guys that, like I said, the lack of balance between both, I'm going to say family, regular life, and your Scentsy business will cause emotional unsteadiness, mental unsteadiness. You're going to feel overwhelmed. And this is when you don't have balance. You're going to feel overwhelmed. You're going to feel like you don't have good footing. You're going to, has anybody's to-do list ever gotten like so long and so overwhelming that you're like, I have so much to do, so I'm going to go take a nap? Like that it was literally me today. Like I was like, I have so much to do, but I'm really just going to go take a nap. Like that's my like coil in moment, my burnout moment. And that's how I recognize I've got too much going on. I need to take a step back and figure out what's important, right? So, how do we do that? How do we look at our lives in total, whether it's day by day or week by week, whatever works for you? How do we look at that and establish priority? Okay, so that's number one for you guys, is looking at what you have going on and establishing priority. So, I said in the beginning, I don't really believe in balance. Okay, I don't really believe that things are like perfectly even, and everything is getting proper attention or getting the same amount of attention. I don't believe that ever happens. My kids are not getting the same attention as my team is getting, right? I'm definitely dedicating more time to my kids than my team, okay? Because that's healthy, right? My husband is getting more of my time than my business, okay? Because that's healthy. My marriage matters, right? And so I don't think that everything gets equal attention, but what we are doing is we are prioritizing our sacrifices, right? So when we look at family life and we're saying, okay, you get out your calendar and you're like, okay, the kids have this, that's a non-negotiable. I have to be there for that. My friends want to go out this Friday night, but actually I want to do a home party that night. So I'm going to sacrifice going out with my friends on Friday night to be able to work my business so that the balance inside my business is evident in what I am choosing to spend my time with on this Friday night, right? Prioritizing what you have going on is essential for finding balance in both areas of your life. And so when you like Alex talks about doing every Sunday, and I do it too, more or less. I really try to. Sometimes it's Monday morning for me, but looking over your planner or your phone, whatever you use to figure out what you have going on the next day. If it's post-it notes on the wall, if it's a whiteboard, whatever it is, when you look at it for the week or the next day or whatever, when you do that, you are prioritizing what you are giving your time to, right? And so the next thing that I want you guys to notice when we're talking about balance and understand, and I already kind of talked about it, was to understand that you will not give equal attention to everything. And knowing that that's okay, giving yourself permission to say it's okay that I'm not dedicating as much time to my team as I am my personal business right now, and making sure that in an overall scheme of things, there is balance in that, right? Because I may say for the first 2 weeks of the month, I'm dedicating my time to my personal business, right? But at the end of the month, I'm dedicating my time to my team. And so figuring out where all that fits in and how it does, I guess, balance out, but on a day-to-day basis, it can feel very like, right? So there are a lot of days where I sacrifice my house and how it looks because I'm dedicating that time to my business, right? And there are also other days where I spend all day outside of my house and I'm hardly working my business. It like on my phone doing things, whatever. I've scheduled posts, those kinds of things, but I am out and doing things and I'm not sitting at my desk doing work. And I'm sacrificing that for the day to be able to have balance in my personal life and my mental health, right? The third thing that I want you guys to understand, and that is so, so important to having a balanced, to feeling balanced in your business and beyond. And you're going to say, well, that has nothing to do with business. But I hope that it will make sense to you as soon as I say it. Self-care. Self-care is crucial for having balance. Okay. Anybody who's ever worked a 9 to 5, ever had a regular working job, you are given sick time and you are given vacation time. Okay. If you are a full-time employee or whatever, part-time, I don't know. I haven't worked at a real job in a really long time, but you are given those things because employers recognize that without giving the opportunity to have sick days, right? Or the opportunity to take vacation time, that employees will suffer from burnout. They will suffer from mental overload. Their work will decrease in its value because they're being overrun with the work that they're being asked to do, right? Self-care in this business, you may say, well, I'm my own boss, so I can schedule self-care whenever I want. I'm staying at home. Like, what more self-care do I really need? But that's a lie. You have to actually schedule self-care because running your business is not self-care. Okay. It's a great thing. And even like for me, where Scentsy is my happy place, and I love doing Scentsy, and every day I wake up excited to do my work. I truly find joy in it. It is not my self-care. It is not how I treat myself. Okay. And we have to be intentional about scheduling it into our I would even go as far to say you need to schedule self-care on a day-to-day basis. And the reason I say that is because we all need a break. Okay. We all need 15 minutes, 20 minutes, 30 minutes to take a step back, to do something for us, even if even if it's just like laying on your bed for 10 minutes, like just staring at the wall. Okay. Or like for me, my mom goes outside a lot and she sits outside with her dog. I go outside with my mom and just sit on the bench for like 10 minutes with her. and just sit there and just take in the fresh air. And for me, that is break enough for me to clear my mind, to take a deep breath, and to go back to what I'm doing. Even if I wasn't feeling stressed out, you guys, self-care is so crucial, because you take away self-care, you take away that time that you are spending on yourself, you take that away, and I promise you, you will feel burnout within a week. Okay. And self-care does not have to be anything crazy. It does not have to be going and getting a pedicure, or going and getting a massage, or going and spending money, retail therapy, like all of that. That's not what it has to be. Like I said, I go outside for a few minutes. Sometimes I go lay on my bed. Sometimes I go take a bath. Sometimes I listen to a podcast. Sometimes I go take a drive. Find what refills you and schedule that in. You have to make yourself priority, because your business and your family deserves for them to be getting all of you. When you sit down to do your work, if you are bogged down, if your mental space is cloudy with a bunch of other things because you haven't taken a moment to like take a deep breath, to go outside, to take a walk, to do any of that, you're clouded and you are not giving your full attention to what you are doing, no matter what it is. And it could be something that really makes you happy, but you're not giving your full attention to it. Okay. Um, I forgot to write this part down. I'm trying to think of what it was though. Oh shoot. See, mental block. No, I'm just kidding. Anyways, I'm just gonna skip past it. So when we are talking about finding balance when it comes to between your family life, your home life, and Scentsy, it's also important to recognize where and how you um where and how you schedule Scentsy into your everyday life, right? Scentsy is this lifestyle brand where we are showing people on a daily basis how we're using Scentsy, how we're doing Scentsy, and all that kind of stuff. And that's really great, and we want to do that, but that also takes planning and prepping. Okay. And just like anything else going on in your life, you have to prepare yourself. You have to prepare your business. You have to prepare your schedule to give attention to it, right? So making sure, like for me in the morning, I get up super early, and so what I'll do is I will schedule posts in the morning. I used to do it at night, and now I'm just like too tired at night, so I do it in the morning. I wake up super early and I schedule posts in the morning as I'm laying in bed before I get up, and then I'm good for the rest of the day, right? And I can dedicate my time to other things, but I am preparing that, right? And for me, that's how I even the scales a little bit. So I'm not spending all this time on my phone, scheduling posts, trying to think of what I'm going to do. Finding balance takes preparation. That's where I was going with that. Finding balance takes preparation. You have to be willing to sit down and prepare to balance things out, whatever that looks like for you, right? And if you have a spouse or family or whatever, but if you have a spouse specifically, I have to talk to my husband about what's going on a week to week basis. We have a shared calendar on our phone, so we put things in there and we can both see it, and that's really great, and that works out really well. But I don't just put things in there. When he gets home at night, we're talking about what's going on this week. What are you doing tomorrow? What do you have planned? Um, and making sure that we are balanced on a home front, communicating and preparing each other for what's coming up. That is so important, because there is no stress like being on total opposite pages with the people in your house, or the people who you think you're on the same page with when it comes to your schedule. And when you find out that you're not, it's not fun. Okay. It is not a fun conversation. It is not a fun few days to try to figure it out. So prepare to have those conversations with the people who you need to have conversations with. And there have been plenty of conversations that I've had to have with friends and stuff where I say, hey, look, I have to do some work these days. I have to get these things done. I have to schedule this in because this is the time that I have dedicated to it. And then when it comes to those things, stay focused. Stay focused, right? If we are talking about balance and you say, okay, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do this on this day, and I put this on this chunk of time or whatever, and then you get there and you don't do it, or you get there and you're totally not focused, you're not prepared to do the work, you're not prepared, you're if you show up to your kid's game and they don't have their bat and their cleats and you're not prepared, they're not prepared. Prepare yourself to be so focused when you schedule those things in, right? Because it's unfair to you to say, I'm going to do this then, and I'm going to eliminate all the other things going on, right? I'm saying, I don't have time for this because I'm doing this. And then you sit down and you're totally not prepared to take it on. You're not focused. That's not fair. Make sure that you give your undivided time to that task or to those people that you are spending time with, okay? Or to those things that you commit to, right? It's just not fair to you, and it's not fair to the people around you. Um, and if you want to experience balance in your life, it's going to require for you to for you to prepare yourself and to get everything lined up mentally, emotionally, and in your business and in your home life. Make it so that it's easy for you to start scheduling things to prepare to have the balance on a day-to-day or a week-to-week basis, right? If clutter drives you nuts, right? And you go into your office or you go into your workspace and it's totally cluttered and you're not focused and you can't work right, then you need to prepare your workspace. If you go into the kitchen to make dinner and it's all a mess and there's dishes all over the sink and stuff, you're totally distracted by the fact that your kitchen is a mess and you can't prepare dinner, and then you're spending 20 minutes trying to clean up from the night before or whatever, and then you're late for dinner and kids are hungry and all that stuff, right? You have to prepare to be focused in those tasks that you're committing to. Okay. Seriously, you guys, the biggest thing that I keep wanting to go back to is the self-care. Um, I was just talking to one of our girls today. I won't say her name, but I was just talking to her today about her business and how she's feeling and what she's doing. And she said, I really had to take a little bit of a break. I had to take a little bit of a step back this month. I'm trying, but I'm also like a little bit hands off. It's been a difficult month for me, but next month I'm ready to go. I have prepared my business. And the cool thing about that is, even though me and Alex are very adamant about not getting off the ride, right? Don't step so far back from your business that you can't even see it anymore. Don't do that, right? But when you have balance and when you can recognize burnout or there's things going on in your life, right? When there are some things going on in your life that you can't control and it feels really heavy and there's some big changes or whatever, when that stuff is going on, if you have prepared your business, you can say, okay, I can let up a little bit here. I can let up a little bit here because I know I have solid footing in my business. I have prepared it all the way before this, that I can say, okay, you know what? I can take a few days. I can take a week. I can still be present for people, but I can take a week and I can back off the gas a little bit. And I know that after next week, it's back on, right? That's still balance. That's still balance, right? It's like people who say, well, I worked out 5 days this week, so now I can have a cupcake. Or, I had a salad for lunch and 2 Oreos for dessert. It's called balance, right? And it is. It is. We have to balance the things that we have going on, whether they're fun, whatever, mundane tasks, all that stuff. We have to balance it out with things like self-care, with treating yourself, right? There is that such thing as treating yourself to the hard things that you're putting in. It's balance, right? And I always balance every meal with dessert. Okay, just let that be known. I do. Okay. So, it is so important that you guys evaluate your schedules, that you communicate with the people who it affects, and that you prioritize the things that you have going on. on a day-to-day, week-to-week, month-to-month, whatever kind of basis works for you. I would recommend kind of doing a little of all of it, honestly. Look at your day-to-day, prioritize your tasks, right? If today is the day that you're spending for your customers and you say, okay, I want to do some things today. I want to do customer emails and I want to follow up and I want to book some parties. Okay, what are you prioritizing? If for whatever reason you're only given an hour today to do that stuff, what are you going to work on first? Because you can't tackle it all at the same time. You have to pick the task that you're going to hit head on first. Prioritizing your day-to-day, week-to-week, month-to-month, whatever tasks as often as possible and communicating them. Okay? And scheduling in self-care. Please schedule in self-care. The breaks, whatever it is for you, the desserts, you need to do that because you will have burnout. Okay? And remember, balance does not mean equal parts of all. It does not mean you're given equal to your family. It does not mean you're given equal to your team. You're prioritizing, and there is sacrifice in that, and that's okay. Give yourself permission to not feel guilty about that. Okay? So, I hope that was helpful. If you guys have any questions, you can drop them below.